Yes, welcome back to Broadcast. Oh, hang on. You're not JJ. No, I'm not. He's drafted me in to be the new host of Broadcast. It's Billy Kirkwood here, Scottish sweetheart of entertainment. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sitting down, bringing you the same chat. We're going to be talking to Braw Beard athletes. We're going to be talking to Braw Beard ambassadors. We're going to be talking to people that attended championships. Interesting individuals from all walks of life. Still giving beard tips, still giving fantastic insights. You know something? It's not just a podcast, it's a lifestyle podcast. It's a life podcast. We're going to be talking, and it's going to be an absolute blast. And we're going to have a couple of laughs along the way. Right, this episode, my first one, kicking off, we're going to be chatting to Jimmy Brittain. Billy, take it away. Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to Season 2 of Broadcast with a brand new host, which probably could mean I'll fire this straight into the ground. I'm Billy Kirkwood. Let me explain what happens on Broadcast if it's your first time watching. What we get to do is we get to talk to some of our brothers from the Brawtherhood, and as well just interesting characters from all around the world that certainly not only use the product, but as well just interesting people all around the world. And I'm joined by certainly a character. Now, this is my new friend, Jimmy. We're going to get to a little bit of insight on you in just a second. There is a lot going on here, Jimmy, I think it'd be fair to say. First of all, Jimmy Brittain, you won an award just at the weekend here in Glasgow.
Absolutely.
At the Braw Beard Moustache Championships 2020. What did you win?
Yes, sir. I won second place, over 12 inches, best beard, natural beard.
And this wasn't your first award, surely?
No. I'm currently national champion in the States.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Been competing for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
Beard's 5 years old. It was 5 years old Thanksgiving, which you don't know Thanksgiving, but it's in November.
Yeah, that's... I love the fact that you call your beard 5 years old. Makes it sound like a baby. Where he's going to big school now. We're very excited. So, what... Now, you're a lawyer back in, I believe it's Charlotte, North Carolina. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Well, we cover the whole state of North Carolina, a law firm called Crumley Roberts.
Right.
I'm one of the shareholder partners. It's a very big firm, though. There's about 10 offices in North Carolina.
Okay.
And we also have an office in Birmingham, Alabama, and we're also in South Carolina.
Oh, wow. These are all wrestling hotbeds. You see, I place everything with wrestling hotbeds.
Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling.
That's exactly it, man. Oh, you like wrestling as well.
Absolutely.
This is going to be fine, Jimmy. Yeah. This is going to be
Rock
fine.
and Roll Express, brother.
Mate, they just lost the NWA Championship. They won it back.
Oh,
wow. Their 10th one because NWA Power was back in the 10th. Anyway, nobody's really bothered with that. Maybe we'll get to that in a little
sidebar.
It's a little sidebar. It's me and Jimmy start hosting a podcast that is all about wrestling in that area. I think we'll be the only two that will listen to it, but it'll be good anyway. So you're a lawyer there.
Yes, sir.
First of all, we'll go back to where did you grow up, Jimmy? Is that your neck of the woods?
I grew up in western North Carolina, which is where the Scotch-Irish settled back in the 17 and 1800s.
Yeah.
The mountainous part of North Carolina, part of Outlander, was filmed in that part of the state. And I think at one time there was an episode that they were filmed at the Highland Games up in Grandfather Mountain. I live about 40. I have a farm about 40 miles from there.
All right. And so you were on about. Are you a lonely child, or is there a big family?
Very small family. I'm the eldest of two.
Right.
My brother's 5 years younger than me. He does still live on the family compound, but he and I don't get along very well. So
that's fair enough. That's what brothers are for.
We fight like cats and dogs.
Brothers are for.
Cain and Abel.
Full of love, but don't get on very well.
That's
I think that's
right.
what they're all about. Now, what was it like growing up in that neck of the woods? Because there'll be plenty of people watching, and a lot of the people we've had on have been principally UK based, but that's a very specific part of America.
Yes.
What was it like growing up in that neck of the woods?
Well, it was pretty tough in a lot of ways. Very conservative. My father was a Baptist minister.
Right.
And he was also a brick mason.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up holy roller, beat the Bible, very, very, very religious, ultra religious. So I grew up in church, played piano in church, sang in church. But I was also quite a rather large, fat, chubby kid.
Okay.
So I got bullied pretty bad in school, so that was pretty shitty. But wound up when I got into high school, things started flowing along, and wound up doing pretty well at the end of the day.
Right. So you exactly. It's a great story. So you're fighting through all this. When did you make the decision that it's like, right, I'm wanting to, because it's a family business, flying to the farm. You've taken a completely different route in so many different ways.
Right.
So let's go down education, for example.
Yeah.
When did you make the decision, the family farms are very good.
Yeah.
This is the journey my father's taken.
Yes.
when did you go,
Yep.
I want to change things?
So I used to work in the summers for my father laying brick and block. I was a mason's helper, so I made all the mortar and carried the brick and block, which is back-breaking labor.
Yeah.
And my father was a high school dropout.
Okay.
So he believed the only person that should go to college is a doctor or a lawyer. If you're going to be unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, you should be doing laying brick and block.
Okay.
My father and I didn't get along very well, so I realized this is going nowhere quick. So I've got to figure out how to use my brain instead of my back. And so, long story short, I wound up graduating from high school, didn't want to go to college.
Okay.
So I worked in a textile mill for about 5 years.
Wow.
Making fabric. So
Okay.
I worked manual labor, did that from the time I was 17 until the time I was 21.
Right.
Realized that business was going to China. And it was the bunch of layoffs. So then I put myself through college.
Okay.
Started out as a theater drama major.
Right. Okay.
I wanted to do theater.
Did you want
drama.
to? Did you want to be a performer, or was it backstage?
No, I definitely wanted to be a performer.
Oh, brilliant!
Did some modeling for a little while.
Very nice. Hang on, modeling for, is this before the beard?
Yeah,
Wow.
when I was about 22, 23.
You're a renaissance. This just keeps going. This just keeps going. So, because most people would that would be their set career.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so you got into, what were you modeling for?
A company, a big department store in the south of the United States. The biggest department store is called Belk's.
Okay.
They're based out of Charlotte, the
Right.
headquarters, and I did some modeling for them for a while when I was in college.
When you say modeling, do you mean?
Like, in the newspaper.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Can you give us one of your Zoolander poses? It's very good. I can see why they picked you up. I can see why they picked
It's
you
all
up.
about the eyes and the brow.
It's all in the eyes.
And you got to turn the head a little bit. You got to cock the head a little bit. Yeah.
So we're taking this journey. We're
Aye.
doing modeling. We're getting through college.
Yes.
Where do we go? Because so far it seems like it's almost like tapas. You're doing a little bit of everything.
Well, I got about 2 years in. I had an acting coach who was my professor and decided sort of the guidance counselor at college, and wound up doing really well. Was the top of my class in that degree, and she met me one day for a meeting as to my future, and she said, "So where do you want to go, New York or L.A.?" And I said, "Oh, I'm scared."
Oh, right.
The country boy, redneck farmer from Hillbilly, North Carolina, that was too scary for me.
Oh, no.
So I said, "Well, I don't want to do either. How does that work?" She said, "Well, if you're not going to do that, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to make any money,
Right.
and you're going to starve to death." So I said, "Well, what else can I do?" She said, "Why don't you be a trial lawyer?" And she said, "You can use dramatics in the courtroom." At the time, she had a couple lawyers that used her assistance to help get do the theater part of the trials.
Right, so sort of bringing it out of people. You've got all those performance
the theatrics.
skills. Oh, I see.
The drama.
Because
The drama.
judging by everything we see in the TV here in the UK,
Law and Order.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Criminal intent.
Even some of the ones that we get to watch, some of the lawyers are so flamboyant. It is incredible.
Yeah.
So here we are. We're walking towards law.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I think I took lemons and made lemonade. I think I did pretty well with that, as well as could ever be expected. Got into that. I graduated from undergraduate. It was a 4-year degree. Actually waited tables the whole time I was doing all this.
Oh.
So I bartended and waited tables for Red Lobster. Right. Red Lobster, which is a big seafood chain in America.
Yeah. They haven't really made it over here, I'm afraid. I haven't really made it over here. Not much about lobster. I know plenty of women with red snapples, but we'll talk about it. Sorry.
Yeah, snapper's good stuff, right?
Sorry. It's just for you, man. It's just for you. So I love the fact as well that we hear about all these journeys of people taking actors, they wait tables. So you went, I'm going to be a lawyer. Now I'm going to wait tables.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to be a lawyer. But being a lawyer, passing the bar, all that time, I mean, that takes a lot of commitment. So you're all about internal drive.
Yes, I'm well, tenacious and passionate are probably the two biggest characteristics that I have, I think.
Okay, that's awesome.
And you know, I think a lot of it, public speaking ability. Excelled at that because part of the major of a theater in America is public speaking and communication, because if you can't do that naturally, you're going to suck.
Yeah.
So I was pretty good at that, saw that I could communicate, and then waiting tables for 5 years in that part of my life definitely taught me to be humble and to put up with people that are condescending or treating you like crap.
Of course.
Because at the end of the day, you got to make tips. In America, it's very different than here.
Yeah.
In America, people make bartenders make about $2.13 an hour.
Right.
So $2.13 an hour would be.
It's not a lot of money for a 5 hour
shift. It's less than £2.
Yeah.
It's less than £2. So it's very tip driven. So I would look at it like Christmas. I would go in broke. How do I make my car payment? How do I put gas in the vehicle? I need to eat. You used to eat a lot at Red Lobster for free.
Okay.
But you still had to do the things you got to do. So I would go into it looking like Christmas. This is Christmas Eve. What can I pull out for Christmas morning in presents? Is the presents or the tips. Okay. So I tried to use the comedy expertise in taking care of the guest to make money. So having that is a good background for being a lawyer.
It's one of these things you'll hear about people talking here in the UK about the US customer service and how amazing it is.
Right.
Because the guys are wanting tips. You don't quite get that here in the United Kingdom.
Exactly.
But exactly. You're bringing all these you're bringing all these things together.
Right.
It sounds odd because we met. Of course, we only met at the championships at the weekend,
sir.
and I could tell when you walked in. This boy's got a confident swagger.
Well, you have to.
You can tell straight away. But it also makes somebody approachable.
Yes.
And do you think the fact that you're so approachable has afforded you these opportunities?
It's definitely helped. I believe in the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. So I try to treat everybody as the same. So, I don't really like lawyers in general. I mean, most people don't. They're snooty, doctors, anybody with a white-collar professional in that degree of profession have a tendency to talk down to people.
Yeah.
And people hate that, especially in Southern America. So if you can treat them like they're one of your brothers or family members, that really helps things go along nicely, and you don't wind up getting your ass kicked. So there's a lot of that. Just tit for tat, try to help people, and that lended itself into going into law school and not being boring. I think you got to be colorful. I think you got to have a lot of depth about yourself and who you are. And I think that really helps. If you're a really deep person with many, many layers, like an onion, you can peel those off and you get to the crux of the matter. People like that. Yeah,
they definitely do. So here we are. We're now a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
We're now a lawyer. You are different to any lawyer we've ever seen. There's no two ways about it. Just literally a quick Google search. You're everywhere. You're absolutely everywhere. Your image is actually everywhere.
I'm excited about that.
So what exactly? I mean, we're looking at the beard first of all.
Aye.
You're in your early time as a lawyer.
Yes,
let's
sir.
say.
Yes, sir.
And like you said, these people are all quite image conscious and what have you. So when do we start?
Yeah.
When does this little bad boy start?
Around 2. I had a goatee off and on for a long period of time. Had a mustache when I was 16.
Right.
My father had a beard.
Was it a good mustache?
It was 16? A pretty rocking porn star mustache.
Because I did not have a good mustache when I was 16. I could have. Y'all tried to grow them, but
Tom
my God.
Selleck was my idol. I wanted to be Magnum P.I.
Oh, what?
Yeah, who didn't want to be Magnum P.I.?
Still do.
Magnum P.I. in wrestling. This combine.
Let's put them together. We are good. Listen, I already like this. We're going to get Vince McMahon on the phone tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We'll get Jim Crockett. We'll get it all sorted. We'll get it all sorted.
Jim Crockett Promotions.
Let's do it. Well, it's all run by Billy Corrigan and the Smashing Pumpkins now. The NWA is owned by Billy Corrigan,
who's amazing, by the way.
He is amazing.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Sorry, we're getting into this wrestling chat again. Billy, if you're out there, get in touch.
We're going to throw John Jackson into the ring, I think.
Oh, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be great.
He wears bobble.
He won't have it, though. He won't have it. But, right, so here we are. We've got the goatee or what have you, but then you make this big... It's interesting you're talking about being a colourful character, because from a comedian's point of view, I mean, I see all these comedians that come out in dinner jackets and T-shirts and, hey, what's up with airplane food? Fair enough, that's all very well and good. But it was, of all people, this is another wrestling reference, and I haven't meant this, but these Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Heart.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart.
He had a mantra, and that was dress like a punter.
Right.
You might as well be a punter.
Right.
So he's all about. That's why he always had the elaborate from like day one.
Yes.
The elaborate jackets.
Yeah, it was always.
Even though I haven't gone that far, I was like, well, you gotta stand out.
Yeah, man.
In some way, otherwise, I mean, can you remember the doctor that treated you 6 months ago? No, you probably can't. But if he'd had a big mustache or a hat or tattoos, you would have been, I remember that guy.
Absolutely.
If he was approachable as well. And you've taken a lot of that on board.
Absolutely.
So is that really what you set out to do with this image, or was it just come along naturally?
When I set out, that was not the intent. That is the end goal now. So in the beginning, around 2013, I think.
Okay.
I'd never been on Facebook, never been on social media. I got on social media somewhere around 2011, I think. But at any rate, I saw this guy on the internet, Jeff Langham.
Right.
As the Langham Lion. He was a world champion, and his beard would look like a lion's mane. It was out to about here. Right. I saw him on Facebook, and it went really wider than mine, way wider than mine.
Yeah.
But I saw that, and I said, I want to be that dude. I want to be that dude.
Wow.
And I never thought about how it was going to relate to law. And
right.
I never thought, well, how are my law partners going to relate to it? Are they going to like it? Are they going to hate it? We're a very progressive, a very liberal law firm, which is unusual, especially in Southern America. Very progressive and very accepting. Very, we try to be accepting of all and non-judgmental of anyone. Which is pretty cutting edge in America. So, long story short, I start growing the beard, and then I started getting comments and likes. And, being bullied as a child and made fun of and tortured. We all want to be liked and accepted and loved.
Of course.
We all like a little bit of that. And then the love kept coming and coming. So I kept growing and growing. And then one day, it was a funny story. I had the beard was getting pretty out of control.
Okay.
And I don't like dressing up. I hate wearing suits.
Right.
I like to be just like I am right now, very low key. I like to just be blue collar, like the average worker. I don't like dressing up really much. So I started doing that, and then the largest shareholder of our firm, his wife came to me one day and she said, "Why are you hiding your beautiful, beautiful face?" And that's a really nice Southern way of saying, why don't you shave that off? So we went through that phase. I kept it around 8 inches. And then I competed for the first time in North Carolina. I got 4th, and it broke my heart. And so I went to one of the judges and said, why did I not place? Because, unfortunately, I'm my own worst critic and my own worst enemy. I think my beard's small, but when you go talk to people in the audience, they're like, man, you got this, you're going to win, you're going to win, you're going to win. And they're getting you amped up all night long. And then the balloon, the needle gets stuck in the balloon, you're like, ooh. And so I got 4th, and I went to the judge, and I said, what did I do wrong? And he said, well, first of all, man, I don't want to see your fucking lips. So he's like, I was trimming my stash.
Oh, I see.
Was trimming my stash.
That would look odd.
So in America, if you're doing a full natural beard, it's frowned upon to trim the stash. So that day, 3 years ago, I quit trimming.
Right.
And then I started just letting it go wild and woolly.
Right.
At the same time, the law firm at the same time sort of accepted it, didn't really say much about it.
Yeah.
And then I started becoming really popular on social media.
Okay.
And then they were smart enough and intelligent enough to think, well, let's take this and make a positive out of it. Let's make him relatable, and he's the average Joe. He's got a law degree, and he's a really damn good lawyer, but he doesn't have to look like a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I can be me.
Well, the world's changed a lot. Even in 10, like you're talking about like 2011 originally. The world's changed a lot in 10 years for the better in a lot of respects, particularly.
Absolutely.
And that's what, Braw Beard's about. That's what, for me, and I say an outsider because I have to keep shaving my beard off because I was in Panto this year and I was a woman and they made me shave my beard. I had a belter. I had a, oh my goodness.
Oh, man.
But it's like, he said it. So any excuse to put on makeup and high heels, you know.
Right, absolutely.
So, but for being, I can imagine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know?
Absolutely, yeah, I know exactly.
I said, we'll cut that from the law firm. You're going to go back. Have we had an idea, Jimmy? We don't think there's enough women coming in.
Yeah, we need to smear some makeup on you.
Yeah, we need someone. But
I can wear a wig, I guess.
But even those early stages when you have a beard, it's interesting you said about that. Nobody tells you that when you get a beard. Like when someone first said to me, it's like, you can get it tidied up a little bit. I was like, can you?
Yeah.
I'm not one that shaved off, but even just getting. So when you had to start using, even though you're saying you're letting it go wild and woolly, you clearly look after it now. When does that happen? You started the concept of beard oil was a completely alien concept to me.
Right. That started. Probably in the first year of growing, I started wanting. So my thing is I like wide beards. I like wild and fluffy.
Right.
People sort of I use the term fluffy, and people laugh about it, but I like a fluffy beard. Yeah. Well, to make it look fluffy and not like crap, you got to do a lot of work to that.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to condition it right. You got to be careful how much oil you put in it. Is it a good quality oil? For example, Braw Beard oil. The great thing, and I was just talking to him last night. So the 10 ml gift bag, the swag bag, the little bottle of oil. It was Arctic, 1912, whatever the name. I forgot. It's 1912. Or the Northman. Yeah. So it's a 10 ml, and I had to compete without oil in it.
Okay.
So the beard was just freaking, it was so dry and stuff, and so I used the whole bottle yesterday morning in just one time.
What?
Just and the thing about Braw oil is it doesn't make it greasy. So I could last night was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was explaining to my buddy, hey, this oil is the hemp seed oil, hemp oil, which is the base of the oil, absorbs so wonderfully by the hair.
Yeah.
So a lot of oils are greasy. The ones that are grapeseed oil based, the ones you find in the Asda. There's a price point they're trying to reach, whereas Braw has really said we want the highest quality, best ingredients to make it glisten, to make it perform well, to make it look well, and I think most bearded guys are extremely self-conscious. Mm-hmm. I know I am. And they also always think their beard doesn't look as good as it should. Right. And I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of bearded guys, and they all say the same thing. We're hardest on ourselves. So you want to look good, and you don't want to be ashamed to go out in public.
No, certainly not. When did you first come across Braw Beard then? When did that first come across? Because Charlotte, North Carolina is a long way away.
Long way. I met this guy who's off camera,
of course,
from Scotland, a buddy of mine. Met him through a little beard club, a Scottish beard club.
Of course.
And he actually, I think, told me about it first. And then I had been I was buddies longest with Davey Wallace.
All right.
And Davey and I
was just thinking, there he is leaning over us.
Davey.
There he is leaning over us.
The big man, Davey.
He'll love that. He'll absolutely love that. There
yes.
You go. We put you over, mate.
Absolutely.
We put you over.
Davey's always bigger than me. But anyhow, so long story short, about 5 years ago, a beard club online, Facebook, was created called Men with Beards. And it was no women allowed, and you had to have a beard, and they would actually check to see if you had a beard or that you would not get accepted. So Davey and I entered that club right in the first few months of his existence. It's out of England.
Right.
And Davey and I started being active in it, and they had a thing called King of Beards.
Yes.
And King of Beards was one vote a week. So there was one championship per week, King of Beards. And I won it early on, and then Davey won it right after me. Then there was a little company in America called Stellar Feller, which really doesn't exist much anymore. I think they're still online, but he became the European ambassador for Stellar Feller, and I was the American ambassador for Stellar Feller. So there was only two of us, he and I, and we did that for about a year. And Davey was a raver from way back. He loves to rave. So he loves to bang. He loves to bang the head.
Okay.
And so he has a little shed. He's a woodworker. He's a craftsman.
Yeah.
He worked for a bagpipe company at the time. He worked for a big bagpipe company in Scotland, and really good at woodworking and stuff. Yeah. And so he had a shed that he had all his tools and stuff right behind in his garden, and he called it the Rave Cave.
Okay.
So Davey loves to drink a few bevies, and especially on Sundays. Sundays, because he works so hard, he works all the freaking time. The only time he doesn't work is on Sundays.
Right.
And so he would get in his rave cave, and he would have amaretto, Di Serrano amaretto.
Yeah, yeah.
He loves amaretto and Diet Coke.
Oh, well, it tastes like Dr. Pepper. When you put it together, it tastes like Dr. Pepper. I haven't had a drink in 15 years, but I remember that. That is good stuff. Davey knows his stuff.
Yeah, man. So Davey would have about 4 or 5 bevies in him, and then he would video chat me. and we would video chat on Sunday afternoons, about every Sunday afternoon, and listen to rave music, headbanging, bang your head. And he also used to play the bagpipes for me occasionally.
Wow.
So, yeah, we became pals.
Yes.
We became pals over the bevies. And then the Stellar Feller thing fell through. Davey left because the guy wasn't supplying him product. And you need, look at that sucker. You need probably 100 ml a month at least for that sucker to.
Definitely.
It eats oil like kids eat Cheetos. So at any rate.
It means Watsits, in case you don't know what I mean. We call them Watsits.
Cheetos are only in America.
Watsits. Don't worry about it.
Chips, cracker, I don't know.
Yeah, that'll do.
So he went with another company for just about a month, and then I think John approached him, Braw, and then when Davey got into Braw, I was like, wow. If Davey's repping it and loving it, it's got to be good. And so then I ordered some, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I came over for I've been here 3 times in a year.
Yep.
So the first time was Braw in February, a year ago this week, I think. And then I got to meet John, and John just such a nice guy, and met Lindsay and Davey, and then Monkey. Yeah. Monkey's amazing. Monkey came over and stayed with me for a week back in November. We went to the national championship. Monkey got second.
Oh, wow.
He's second in America for best mustache. So, style, stash, big beard.
It's no national championship.
Well, he's number 2. I know. But, it's just a great group of guys. Yeah. And then I got in the Brawtherhood, which is a Facebook group, and everybody's just amazing. I love Scotland. Being a Scottish ancestry, my ancestral name is McFalls.
Oh, well, I was gonna ask you about that, obviously. So, because I saw the Facebook post you were putting up, you were getting to see a little bit about. Yeah. So, where does the Scottish ancestry lie? You said McFalls.
McFalls.
Right.
McFalls is John Henry McFalls. Okay. Matter of fact, he's in a book in the county that I live in. The family farm that I own today has been in my family for almost 200 years in America. Okay. So we came over, I think, right around when the Scottish were sent to Ireland by the king and took over land or something, and they had a big brouhaha, I don't know. Part of them left, and that was my ancestors that settled in Burke County, North Carolina, in the mountains of North Carolina, the foothill area, which actually, like I say, Outlander filmed some there where close to my farm. Yeah. And I think because they settled there, because it looks so much like the Highlands of Scotland. And so this McFalls guy, and I wished I had a picture to show you, but he had a huge white beard.
No way.
Yeah, he had a huge, like as big as mine, and the size really doesn't matter. But he had an amazing beard. And
you're saying that to make me feel better. You're saying that to make me feel better.
No, lies.
And I appreciate that. Listen.
It's not how big you got; it's how you use it.
It's not the size of the beard. It's not the size of the beard. It's how you stroke it, ladies.
That's right. That's right. You got to. Yes.
Right. That's amazing. So you've been back in Scotland. You've been here 3 times in a year. Yeah. But I know specifically in this trip, you're really trying to track down some of the Scottish ancestry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I need to do the Ancestry.com DNA thing. I'm not done that yet. I don't think I'm going to come up with somebody else ancestry-wise. I think it's probably, but you never know.
You can get those in Costco now. Ancestry thing. I saw that for like $40. It was like,
I'm going to have to do it.
I know they're all Irish, so what would be the point?
But my concern is that maybe somebody has my dad or somebody is. I have half brothers or sisters. Yeah, and then it comes out of the woodwork like
no, that's always the worry. That one day there's going to be that knock at the door.
I've got 100 cousins that I didn't know about, or 100 half brothers. I don't know.
So we're involved with Braw Beard. That's amazing. And like I say, as an amazing community, I'm interested about the Men with Beards Facebook group that you had. Yes. Because why did they have to keep people out? Was it just people being nosy, or was there people with?
Dane Hankin, who is still in charge of the group and everything, he decided early on, I want this to be an enclave and a safe house for bearded men.
Yeah.
And nobody beat up on the men.
Yeah.
Men are beat up enough. Men have bearded men seem to a lot of us have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
So why not make it a safe haven where all we do is support beards, elevate the beards, lift people up.
Yeah.
Make them feel good, and we've had some suicide in the bearding community in the past year, especially a gentleman in England that everybody knew and loved, and that is sad, and that is horrible.
But what I find is great with the community is there is an element of building positivity.
Right,
there is body positivity, mind positivity. It all seems to get built universally, which is really something we're all about here, and certainly in the podcast. So it's great to hear. Is that extended over to America, do you think? Because it's certainly prevalent here in the UK.
Absolutely. In the bearding community in America, the ones that run the circuit, so to speak, the ones that are very active in all the big beard competitions all over the United States, go to nationals, go to the southeastern United States in Charleston. They are all it's all about acceptance, love, non-judgmental. And the love is just it's overwhelming. When you never meet a stranger. When you go into a room, whether they know me from Facebook or not, I may not, because I try to be friends with everybody, and sometimes it's overwhelming. And so when I walk in, but I never, ever, ever want anyone to feel left out or get their feelings hurt. So same thing in America. There is a lot more female support, I think, though, in America. They call that the Whiskerinas. So you all call it fake beard, but in America it's called Whiskerinas. And so, for example, at the national championship level, there's 51 categories. Of those 51 categories, about 10 or 11 are for women.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So that's been embraced, and a lot of the wives and partners of men in America go compete.
Yes.
So both of them are competing, and they bring their wives, and it's been amazing. Yeah. So of all the communities I've been a part of, lawyer communities, college communities, fraternity communities, the most loving and accepting of all have been the bearded community.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I want a Whiskerinos t-shirt.
I'm going to get you one and have it shipped over.
So bad. Well, give the Whiskerinos my very much best. Right, I've got to get back to your story just quick. So you're the face of, it's hard to even describe the face of this law firm, because everywhere I looked,
I'm on billboards and buses.
Billboard.
Yeah.
A billboard. That's going to be incredible. And it's gotten more attention than that. You were mentioning the documentary for ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN. So I was in Hartford, Connecticut, where ESPN is based. Yeah. And my Uber driver that night was the associate producer of a documentary show on ESPN called E60.
Yes.
E60.
Yes.
And so he met me. I don't know why. For some reason, he was my Uber driver one night, and I gave him my law card. He gave me his card, and then he called the law firm about 2 weeks later and said, we're thinking about this. We've been brainstorming it. We're trying to get the green light on doing Fear the Beard. It became Fear the Beard.
Right.
And it was James Harding, NBA player.
Yes.
James Harden, NBA player with a huge monstrous beard. He made bearding famous in the NBA, and so they were trying to tie that into him. And so, we went back and forth, and the guy was a huge champion of me, and they came over and we filmed at a national championship in Richmond, Virginia, about a year and a half ago, and we did all that, and then it aired, and it was about a 7-minute piece.
Yes.
And
which is a lot on that show. That's huge exposure.
Yeah, and it was all about funny, being funny, lighthearted, trying to give people a good laugh.
Yeah.
And so they followed me for 2 days, mic'd me, so I had to be careful for 2 days what I was saying. They came to my room the morning of the competition. They came to the hotel room and started with the shower scene, which we had to choreograph and all that, and so you didn't see any bits or anything. So
this was definitely ESPN.
Yeah.
This is YouPorn or something. The guy's driving an Uber. I'm getting suspicious. All right, so what was the response to this documentary?
It was amazing. It was overwhelming. It's on YouTube if you want to go watch it, but there's been over 30,000 views on there.
Crazy.
And then ESPN has ESPN The Ocho, which is a spoof on the movie Dodgeball.
Yeah.
And so they call it The Ocho, and it's every August, if I'm not mistaken. So that clip, that 7-minute piece made The Ocho. Right. So then they played it several times on The Ocho back in August. And so that's just really catapulted everything. And then the law firm said, well, wow, he's better known than we are on social media.
Yeah.
Why not embrace what he's doing?
Yep.
Why not let him just be him? Let Jimmy be Jimmy and let him do what he's going to do. And my thing is dressed in black, but I rarely wear suits.
Right.
I don't like suits. I haven't worn a tie in 3 years. How am I going to tie a tie?
That is a great excuse for not wearing a tie.
I don't wear a
there.
tie. No ties allowed. I used to wear bow ties before I had a beard.
Oh, right.
But I remember my beard was about this long, and I was trying to tie a bow tie, and I was like, forget this.
Just end up in the middle of the beard.
You kept getting the hairs in the tie. Wow.
But you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. I'd be like, it's as pointless as wearing a mask of your own face.
Right.
So it would be the point. So how do you feel about this with the law firm there? You're just embracing it, going, I'm just loving this, because obviously you said we're all about love and positivity and attention. You're just going, let's ride this roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got a career, comedy, if you're on stage, and you are naturally, whether you're naturally good or not, whether you think you're naturally good or not, if it's comfortable, if it's a comfortable space, that stage is comfortable, it feels like home to you, and you can engage an audience and make people laugh or cry or whatever emotion you're trying to connote from them. If you can do that, you need to do something with it.
Yeah.
Don't hide it under a bush.
Definitely.
My family was a long line of ministers or preachers.
Of course.
And I certainly didn't want to be a minister just because I couldn't do that. I couldn't.
Imagine what they would think of you on the Philippines. Oh my God. Jesus is actually here. He's turned up.
For the second coming,
Yeah, we've got to go down to that church. You got to go down to that ministry. Well,
I might could heal a few people. I don't know.
Oh, let's give it a go. We'll put some hands on some people after the show. I'm going to ask this one question. This will sound, obviously you're part of the law firm, people see your face. Do you think it made you approachable to people in a way that I would come and see cases, or maybe even wouldn't think, I don't want to go to a lawyer, I'm scared. Right. I mean, we talk about doctors, talk about dentists, but people have a fear of authority figures there, we suggest. Do you think that helped?
It's mind-blowingly how it has helped that.
Yeah.
People will approach me now all the time. Clients, I think in general, people see me and they can identify.
It puts them at ease.
They say, he's more like me.
Yeah.
He's not in a dark suit and a white shirt and polished shoes. He's identifiable. He's in a cowboy, he's in a cowboy hat. I do have a cowboy hat. But he's wearing a cap, baseball cap, and he's got a big ass beard, and he's looking like Johnny Cash with a beard. I identify with that man, and I can trust him.
Yes.
And I think for me, trust and loyalty and honesty are three of the biggest things that anyone can possess. And so if I can I'm all about breaking stereotypes. Imagine that, me breaking a stereotype. But if I can break that stereotype of he's a lawyer that's not looking like a lawyer or acting like a lawyer or treating me like a lawyer.
Yeah.
He is genuine, authentic. It's all about authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think bearding is a lot about authenticity.
Well,
you're either hiding behind the beard, or you're trying to find who you are and be who you are. But if you can be authentic, people can smell a rat a mile away.
Yeah.
And so if you're genuinely authentic, whether it's doing comedy or being a lawyer or being an actor, if you're authentic in your craft or what you're doing, people will follow, they'll listen, and they'll trust you.
Yeah. You're an inspiration, do you know that? I was just getting whisked away on that there. Honestly, you're like a bearded Tony Robbins.
Oh man, thank you.
Okay, so what has there been anything else that's really came off? I mean, you mentioned you've had TV, you're getting advertising exposure. Is it long before we're going to have you in Hollywood? What's coming next?
Well, I think the next round is commercials, doing some commercials for the law firm.
No way.
On a Harley. Yeah, trying to identify, help the motors, being an attorney that bikers, whether whatever gang affiliate they're with or whatever, if they're just enthusiasts, that they can identify with me and say, hey, this guy, I want him. I got hurt in a motorcycle accident. It wasn't my fault, and I want this man fighting for me. And I think that's where we're going next.
You must have a lot of people wanting specifically you when they come into this law firm.
Has
anyone else talked about growing a beard yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. You hit the nail on the head. So our firm, the president of our firm is named Chris Roberts. Crumley Roberts is the firm name. And Chris is the majority shareholder, but he's also the president. He's my boss. And he's done the commercials for the last 12 years. Okay. But he started growing a beard about a year ago. He's a blonde-headed guy, smooth, really, he looks very young for his age, clean shaven, looks almost Scandinavian, and then he starts growing a beard. So there's about 9 men that are shareholders in the firm. I think about 4 of us now have beards.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course mine's the biggest. But
of course,
like I say, that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But yeah, it did sort of start a trend a little bit of embracing the beard. And then his last commercials that the firm shot, he shot it with a beard, which is a big deal because as far as I know in America, especially in North Carolina, I would say he's the only one with a beard that's on television.
That's crazy.
So it's sort of...
For now. All right, well, listen, I don't want to keep you away from that. I know you're away to see football practice after this as well. That's going to be very cool. Yeah. But just to get a little bit more about you before we head off, what do you do to relax? What is it you do from like a day-to-day? Because we've mentioned wrestling, but we've mentioned Harleys, so I'd be interested to know what is it you do when you're not being a lawyer. Right. And I know that I can see the passion in your eyes. Yeah. Your work is clearly very important to you. What do you do in terms of just relaxing and chilling out? Because it's something in the community that we don't talk about enough.
Yeah. I'm really tightly wound. I'm like a chihuahua on steroids. Okay. So it's really, really hard for me to relax and have free time. So for me, free time is I do a lot of traveling now. Coming over here, Hawaii, wherever I can go and get away for a little bit and try to decompress. But bearding is really my hobby.
That's great.
So the bearding thing, going to competitions, trying to take care of that, and then cars are my passion.
Oh, really?
I love motors.
What's anything special in the garage just now?
Yeah, the new Maserati GTS Levante with a Ferrari V8 in it that you can't even get here.
Wow,
of those.
That was a selection of words I did not understand. Sounds good though. It's a good car. Yeah. But you've had a go. It's a good car. It's a good car.
So yeah, if I can, I'm not saying I would break any laws or anything, but I do enjoy a good 0 to 60.
Wow. That's fantastic. All right. So what's next? Have you got any more bearding contests coming up, or are you travelling after this? Because you're in Scotland now. Is it back home?
I'm home for about 10 days.
Okay.
Going to Disney for St. Paddy's Day.
Oh, great.
So I'll be down in Disney for St. Paddy's Day.
What is Disney doing St. Paddy's Day?
I have no idea. I'm getting ready to find out. We're gonna dye Mickey Mouse green. I don't know.
I'm just thinking, what do they do? I don't think
I have no idea.
I don't think there's been an Irish Disney movie. I can't think of one. Was there been a Scottish one?
Yeah. And then in May is the Southeastern U.S. Championship in Charleston.
Right.
That's May 26th down in Charleston, South Carolina. Do that. I'm gone a lot in June on travel over to Morocco and Spain and the Mediterranean for a while.
Okay.
So first time to Morocco, I'm a little scared. I'm going to be gone 19 days. I've never been gone that long in my life.
Wow.
I'm a homebody.
All right, so it's always short visits.
Always short visits.
Of them, but short visits.
But I hope to come back to Scotland, hopefully in August or September, and maybe this time around it won't rain the whole time. But if it does, it does. Who cares?
Right. So August is during the Edinburgh Festival, and I can tell you for a fact it's probably going to rain every day.
It rained the whole time last year.
But we'll do what we can for you. We'll do what we can for you. All I think is left to say, and I'd love to do this at the end of this new season, if we like, is what advice would you give if there's anyone watching here right now? So we're going to go from a little bit of a technical standpoint, not giving away any secrets, of course. But what advice would you give to anyone that is looking to build on their position within this community? They're looking to, if you like, cultivate their beard in the proper way, because it's interesting talking to people even at the Braw Beard, because again I'm a novice. I use Braw Beard. I've got Heather in just now, which is my wife's name.
I love Heather. Heather's amazing.
She loves it. Are we talking about my wife?
Well, we can talk about that. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
Wow, she'd be into it probably. But
obviously Heather likes beards apparently.
So she does.
And Heather from Braw is great for beards.
You are a lawyer because I am in riddles. I acquit. But it's talking about. So, how would you want to? What advice would you give to people who want to take this on?
So, first of all, I would say if you're wanting length, you're wanting girth and length. No pun intended. But if you want girth and length, quit tidying so much. And tidying is a huge thing in the UK, not so much in America.
Right.
And I know these barbers need to make money, and I love the barber community to death, and they're great here. But they can fix your hair, they can tidy up your hair, but start letting the sides grow out. Drink more water. Don't shampoo your beard every day. Shampoo is one of the worst things for breaking down the hair. So don't shampoo it every day. I personally only shampoo my beard once a week at most, but I do condition every single day with some type of good conditioner. I think there might be something out there on its way from Braw in that respect, but I can't say. But anyhow, you want to condition every day. Always put some conditioner in your beard. Keep it in about 4 or 5 minutes before you rinse it out. And the other thing is don't overbrush. If you're going to get a long beard and you want it thick, don't brush it to death. I personally only use a very wide tooth comb. I rarely brush my beard because when you get hair that's 5 years old, it starts thinning out. So those are the things I would say. Use a really good Braw oil. They're all amazing. I like Heather. I love the 1912. The Grand Exon is my favorite. Right. I love Grand Exon. I love the smell of it. Do that. And I don't use a lot of balm, but balms are good for short beards. But when you get a huge long beard, if you're going to go for a 14, 15-inch beard, you don't want to over process that beard.
Yeah.
And quit the brush. Oh, the other thing is guys sit here and they play. Quit playing in the beard. Play with something else. Okay.
Okay, that could go either way on that one. Finally, I think it'd be fair to say, where can people find you on social media? I don't want people bombarding you, but where can people find you?
So, Instagram, I'm Jimmy the Big Beard. Jimmy the Big Beard on Instagram. And then Facebook is Jimmy Brittain.
Okay.
I'm just like the country with an extra T.
Oh, there we go. With more tea. We don't need that here. That's what caused all the fight with the Boston Tea Party in the first place.
Exactly.
Jimmy, this has been an absolute delight.
Such a pleasure.
This has been an absolute delight.
Thank you
for joining us.
Yes, sir.
We are going to be back on broadcast soon. Make sure to check out everything that's going on Braw Beard's social media and check out Jimmy as well. I'm Billy Kirkwood.
Thank you so much.
See you next time.
Cheers.
Hey, it's JJ. Thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoyed that episode of the broadcast. If you made it this far, thank you. I have a little discount code for you, especially for the broadcast listeners. So yeah, the code is BRAWCAST. BRAWCAST, broadcast. Use that code at brawbeard.com for 10% off everything on the website. Thanks again. Appreciate your support. See you on the next one. See ya.